Today I wanted to talk about capacity versus resilience. Often we talk about resilience, and it's not a word that I like to use because I feel like it's something that we need to step into or be. It feels like there's a judgment in it, that I must be resilient to be strong or together. I must have resilience to cope with everything in life. And I think resilience can make us feel like we need to be something or be somewhere where we may not be. And so I use the term or the word capacity, which just feels a little bit more expansive. And what I mean by capacity is our capacity to be in life, to deal with life and whatever it brings. You know, during the pandemic, my capacity became really narrow. And there's no judgment in that. It was a stressful time. I was working a busy corporate job. I was running my business and I was trying to homeschool my 2 children. Plus there were some other personal elements that were in the mix as well. And it just meant that my capacity, even to decide what to have dinner, even to create, nourishing meals, I just didn't have that capacity. And this year what's happened is I have been working on my central nervous system and really working with my body in a different way. I left my corporate job, which has made an enormous difference to me and how I live my life. And I noticed my capacity just opening up, that I have more capacity, that I want to get in the kitchen now and, make some really beautiful meals. I'm able to make all the decisions that I need to make. I am on top of everything and all the logistics at school, which, at times over the past few years, it's just been overwhelming. And so this is what I mean about capacity, our capacity versus resilience, which, like I say, just feels like something that you need to step into. I must be resilient, and you don't need to be. But something that I would like to invite in as I'm speaking is around noticing your capacity. How does your capacity feel today? My daughter didn't sleep last night and she was up most of the night, and so I haven't slept. And so my capacity isn't what it would be if I'd had a really good night's sleep. And like I say, we don't need to judge that, but we can flow with it and just notice. And so with our capacity, it's really about coming into connection, not only with our bodies, but with our central nervous systems. Our central nervous systems over the past few years, and it continues, have been shaken. My body was shaking at the beginning of this year. I thought I'd leave my corporate job. You may have heard me say this before, and that I'd kind of like step into this spaciousness. And it wasn't like that. It rarely is. And I had to really come into deeper connection with my body, but with my central nervous system. Our central nervous system is designed to keep us safe. It's designed that when we're in danger, that we can fight or we can run. That's why it's called the fight or flight response. And there's another couple of elements that have been brought into that: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. But that part of your central nervous system, the sympathetic part of your nervous system, is to deal with danger and stress. And the problem is that we have been under a lot of stress, and so we end up in that state continuously, and it depletes our system. It depletes our capacity to be able to deal with life and be in life. And then there's the other side of the central nervous system, the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. This is called rest and digest. This is when we can breathe deeply. Our body and our systems are working, our digestion's working, everything feels a little softer. When we're in the stress response, everything gets a bit tight. You can feel switched on, alert, on high alert. And the opposite side is that more relaxed state, that calmness. But for most of us, that relaxed state, that calmness feels alien because we haven't allowed ourselves to explore that state. We've learned that to be busy, productive, to push, to strive is good, is the thing that we need to do. And I want to challenge that. Because what I notice, the more and more that I change the way that I live my life and I step into my life, is that when we can come from that, the restful, the calm part of our central nervous system, when we can explore the capacity within us, then it just opens up. Decisions become easier to make. You can say no when you mean no and yes when you mean yes. You're not so worried about what other people think. You can flow. You can notice everything in life. You can handle the children, if you're a mother or a father, in a way that when you're stressed, it just becomes kind of a mixing pot when the children are stressed as well. And so that capacity and building that capacity in your body, in your being, is, I believe, so important in how we connect to ourselves, in how we connect to others, and how we connect to life. And you know, what you need to do to support your central nervous system will be very different to what I need to do and to the next person, and what the next person needs to do. If I take meditation, for example, that doesn't feel safe for some people, and for others it does. And so the key is safety. When we feel safe, we're in that restful state of the central nervous system, we can breathe and our capacity just expands. So for me, the things that I can do to support my central nervous system is meditation for me. It might not be for you. Having a bath, slowing down, getting out in nature. You know, I often use the example of wild swimming because this is something that really feeds my soul and is really good for my central nervous system. But because of the nature of wild swimming, for some people it would be the worst thing that they could do for their central nervous system. So it's getting to know you, getting to know what supports you so that you can really broaden that capacity so that you're not on the edge all the time. Do you know that feeling of being on the edge? And that one thing that just kind of breaks it, and then everything just feels too much and overwhelming. We want to step back from the edge. Keep stepping back, so that you can breathe and flow. I hope you found that helpful today.